All right, let's talk about instant messaging. Slack, Teams. It's basically the digital backbone of the modern office now, right? But here's the thing. Is that constant stream of pings actually helping us get work done? Or is it just creating chaos? That's what we're going to dig into.
Okay, to really get a sense of how massive this is, check out this number, 8 billion. That's not a typo. That's how many instant messaging user accounts there are across the globe. We're not just talking about a trend here. This is a complete rewiring of how we all communicate at work.
And you know that sound, right? That little ping or chirp or whatever your app does. It's become the new office soundtrack, hasn't it? It's just always there in the background. And a lot of people think, hey, that's the sound of productivity. But is it really?
And that, right there, is the million-dollar question we're tackling today. When you hear that ping, is it a good thing, a sign of efficiency, or is it just another interruption pulling you away from what you're trying to do? So, we're going to look at both sides of the coin, the promise and the peril of IM, and figure out how to make it work for us, not against us.
So first up, let's look at the bright side, the promise of the ping. I mean, there's a reason we all jumped on the IM bandwagon so fast, right? It held out this amazing vision of a quicker, more connected, and just plain more efficient way to work.
And you know what? The numbers totally back that up. A survey of people who use IM found some pretty incredible things. Get this, 75% said they're dealing with way fewer emails and phone calls. And 66%, 2/3 of people, are getting answers to their questions faster. We're not talking about small changes here. That's a huge boost to your daily workflow.
And that speed, it creates this awesome ripple effect. When teams can solve problems and get feedback in basically real time, it just speeds everything up. The entire business can pivot faster, be more adaptable. And in today's world, that agility is a massive competitive edge.
But hey, it's not all just about crunching numbers and being efficient. Especially now, with so many of us working remotely or in hybrid setups, IM fills this really important social gap. It's basically the new digital water cooler, you know? It's where you build that team culture, share a GIF, and get that sense of belonging. It really is the glue holding a lot of remote teams together.
Okay, so the upside is pretty clear. But you knew there was a but coming, right? With every promise, there's a peril. So now, let's flip the coin and talk about the hidden costs of being constantly connected, because this amazing tool can cause some serious headaches if we're not careful.
And this slide, this really gets to the core of the problem. It's a battle for our focus. On one side, you've got deep work. That's when you're in the zone, doing the strategic, creative stuff that really matters. And on the other side, shallow work. That's the world of constant pings, trying to multitask, and just reacting to whatever comes in. The more time we spend in that shallow end, the less brain power we have for the deep work that actually pushes things forward.
And it's not just about distraction. There's some really serious security risks to think about. If people are using unapproved, unsecure apps, it can be like leaving the front door wide open. It's a scary but simple chain reaction. Someone uses an unsecure app. That creates a weak spot. A bad actor gets in and, bam, your company's confidential info could be compromised.
And the hits keep on coming. You can also end up with these communication silos, where different teams are on different apps and nobody's on the same page. Really critical updates can just get buried under a mountain of chatter. And, if we lean on it too much, all that quick messaging can start to feel kind of impersonal, and we lose out on those deeper connections with our colleagues.
So, we've got the good and we've got the bad. The big question is, how do we get all the benefits without all the baggage? Well, the answer is having a strategy. Think of these next few slides as your official playbook for winning with IMI and turning it back into a powerful asset.
All right, here it is, your 4-step IM playbook. Super simple. Number 1, define what goes where. 2, respect people's boundaries. 3, cut down on the noise. And 4, manage the chit-chat. Don't just ban it. Ready? Let's break them down.
Okay, rule number 1 is all about getting clear. Everybody on the team needs to know what kind of messages belong in which channel. Project updates go here, jokes and GIFs go over there. It's also super important to have clear guidelines and, this is non-negotiable, a zero-tolerance policy for any kind of harassment.
All right, rule 2, boundaries. This is a big one. That always-on feeling you can get from IM is a fast track to burnout, so you have to set clear rules about after-hours messages and when people are expected to reply. It's also just about being a good human, respecting time zones, and maybe adding a quick no rush on this to a message you send at 9 p.m. Rule number 3 is all about reclaiming your focus. I mean, we need to actually use the tools these apps give us. When you need to concentrate, put on your Do Not Disturb status. It's there for a reason. Mute channels that are more nice to know than need to know. And honestly, be a little ruthless. Leave channels that are just adding to the noise.
And last but not least, let's talk about chit-chat. Look, it might be tempting to just ban all non-work talk, but that's a huge mistake. That's the stuff that builds team spirit. The secret isn't to ban it, it's to give it a home. Create a specific channel. Call it #watercooler, #random, whatever you want, and let that be the place for all the memes, weekend stories, and cute pet pictures.
You know, this quote really nails it. At the end of the day, instant messaging is just a tool. A really powerful one, for sure, but it doesn't control us. We're in the driver's seat. If we're just a little more intentional, a little more strategic, we can get all the good stuff, the speed, the connection, and avoid all the bad stuff, like the burnout and distraction. So I'm going to leave you with one final question to really think about. Take a good, honest look at your team. Are you guys using instant messaging, or is it using you? Are you in control, using it to get things done, or are you just constantly reacting to that endless flood of pings? Because the answer to that question, well, it's the difference between I am being your best friend or your worst enemy at work. Thanks so much for joining me.